Hey everyone. In this video, I want to talk to you about how to deal with imposter syndrome. This is something that I've dealt with in my own life, so I've learned a few things that have helped me deal with it that I hope can help you as well. So to begin with, for those of you who don't know, imposter syndrome is basically where you doubt your own abilities and feel like a fraud. It usually affects ambitious people or high achievers more than everyone else because these are the people who are going to accomplish great things and then receive praise and recognition for doing that, and then feel like they aren't worthy of that praise and recognition. I would also say that it affects humble people more because, yet again, these are people who are just not great at receiving praise for what they've done. So, quite often, they get recognition after achieving something, and then they just think, I don't deserve any of this. I feel like a fraud. And that's imposter syndrome. So it's actually, it still kind of affects me in my own life, but I have put into practice a few things that have helped me deal with it. But even to this day, those thoughts still occasionally creep up in my mind, especially now that I've been making these videos, and over time, more of you have been finding me and choosing to listen to my opinion and my advice, and it's a very humbling and incredible thing. And even at times, I don't feel deserving of it. I really don't, because I think I'm just a normal guy to myself, right? So it's hard for me to think that I deserve any of it, really, especially when people praise me for the advice I give, and it's just a really awesome and beautiful thing. So I still feel imposter syndrome from time to time. I still feel like a fraud and like I don't deserve anyone listening to my opinion. But what I've learned that has helped me deal with it, or one of the things, is basically reminding myself of the journey that's gotten me to where I am today. I can't discount that, and you shouldn't either. Because quite often when those thoughts arise in our head, we completely ignore the fact that it's taken us a long time to get to where we are today. Or if you just accomplished a goal, that it's taken you a while to accomplish that. It didn't just fall in your lap, nothing ever does. So anything that you've accomplished, or if you love who you are today and the work that you put in to make yourself who you are, that did not come easy, and only you know that. You know that better than anyone else. So I like to remind myself of this as much as possible because I know that this journey for me has been a few decades in work. I mean, I've studied a lot of psychology and done a lot of research on my own, literally reading studies, watching a ton of videos, reading books, that sort of thing. And I even studied entrepreneurship in university, which is the whole mindset part of it. I mean, well, psychology, a lot of psychology is mindset as well, but psychology has really created the foundation for all my relationship knowledge because I've just been fascinated by relationships for years now. Actually, yeah, decades. Oh, a decade or around a decade. I've just been fascinated by these subjects, and that's why I've researched them and gained enough knowledge over the years to get to where I am today, where I can speak to these things without having to Google them anymore. It's all up here. So that's what I share with you. So never discount the journey that's gotten you to where you are. That will help you counter imposter syndrome whenever it arises, because when you're feeling like a fraud, just think you put in a ton of work to get to where you are today. So how could you be a fraud? It wasn't handed to you. You had to actually earn it. So remind yourself of that. And another thing that has really helped me is just rejecting that negative voice that tells me I'm not good enough. We all have that. It all arises from time to time. And basically the frequency of how often it's there is based on how you react to it. And I've just learned to tell that voice to fuck off most of the time. Pardon my French, but that's what I do. I will literally say that in my own head when that voice arises. I'll tell it to go away. I don't need it because it doesn't serve me. That's what I've learned. All it does is criticize me without offering any constructive criticism or anything of value. So I've just learned to tell it to go the hell away. And that's what I do now. And it helps immensely with imposter syndrome because a lot of it is that voice saying you're not good enough. So learn to reject that voice, or at least refute it. What you can practice is noticing, for one, when that voice is there so that you can start practicing awareness about it. And then once you are at that place, work on having a positive voice that counters it. So something that I like to do is with that positive voice, I'll either tell the negative voice to just completely fuck off, or I'll actually come back with something that basically a solution to whatever the negative voice says. So if the negative voice tells me I can't start a business in this industry, I'll then come back with the positive voice and say, yes, I can. It just may require 5 years of acquiring more knowledge or acquiring X, Y, and Z skills. But basically, I have just learned to refute that negative voice, or to at least come back with a solution on how to get to whatever it is that it's telling me I can't do. I've basically kind of gotten to a place where that negative voice is now motivation for me, because I kind of treat it like an outside voice, because in a way it's not really our own. We're usually taught to have that negative voice because no baby comes into this world doubting its own ability to walk, right? People have to be trained and conditioned to doubt themselves through society, usually through early childhood education. Early schooling is when people are told that they're dumb or whatever things, when they have all these skills that apply in different areas, but we're all judged on intelligence on this in the same manner, which is stupid. But anyway, don't get me started on that tangent. But yeah, that voice is probably, well, pretty much not even your own. So realize that. Treat it like an outside voice, like some stranger telling you you're not good enough. Would you actually listen to that person? They're a freaking stranger. They don't know you. How could they possibly tell you you're not good enough? Instead, just tell that stranger to mind their own business and keep walking. So put that into practice, and I guarantee it will help with dealing with imposter syndrome. So just a quick summary on these two things. You basically want to keep reminding yourself as much as possible how much work you've put in to get to where you are today. Just remind yourself of the journey that you've taken to end up where you are now, and then just practice refuting or rejecting that negative voice as much as possible. Those two things will help immensely with imposter syndrome. They've helped me in my own life, and I hope they'll help you as well. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!